All right, guys, on page 310 and 311, we start talking about more tools that scientists use. So I'm going to read that first paragraph aloud as you read along. Tools can serve many purposes as you conduct science experiments and investigations. Some tools help with observations, helping you to see things that are very small or very far away in more detail. Other tools, such as a computer, can help analyze or visualize data. Computers with access to the internet can help you find information collected by others. A computer can also help you create presentations to communicate your results to others. And over here we have a photograph of a hand lens, and we've used these in class, so you know what these are. And the caption says, use a hand lens to make objects appear larger. This allows you to see more detail than you could with just your eyes. Use a telescope to help you see objects that are far away. Telescopes are really cool for seeing stars and the moon and different things in the night sky especially. And so telescopes can be a lot of fun. Number 3 here, question 3 says, apply. Use a hand lens to observe a leaf and draw what you see. Now, you may have already done this, but you didn't necessarily have to use a hand lens if you didn't have a magnifying glass at home. You could also just look at it really closely with your eyes and draw what you see. I had a cool idea this morning. I thought that the way that I'm going to do mine, and if you've not already done this or you want to do this too, you can. I went out this morning, just outside my back door, and picked a leaf off of my camellia tree that's in my backyard. And so I thought, you know, one of the things that I used to love to do as a kid is to make leaf rubbings. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my leaf right up under my page right here, right under this box, so that I can kind of feel around and feel my leaf until that it's going to be inside the box when I do this. And I'm going to use a broken crayon that I have taken the paper off of. As you can see, it's just a tiny piece of crayon. It's an old one. I took the wrapper off, and I'm going to use the side of the crayon to rub on to color on the top of my paper over my leaf really lightly. And you probably already know how to do this. So I'm just going to show you what mine looks like when I do that. Like I said, it's not really dark and it's kind of hard to see on this document camera, but I can kind of see all the lines and the little, the veins and different areas of my leaf. And this is what it looks like up close. I did the front side of my leaf because when I did my rubbing, it showed the veins in my leaf better than the back side. And this is what the back side of the camellia leaf looks like. Still really green. I love spring because all the leaves are green and pretty. Okay, so you can do it that way, or you can draw your own leaf and draw a very detailed picture of it, or as simple as you want. So question number 4 says compare. How is your drawing of a leaf like the drawing of others? Okay, so we don't get to do this one really because we're not in the classroom. But you can look at mine and tell that mine was a different leaf. I might say, well, my leaf looks different because, well, it says compare, not contrast. I'm sorry. How is your drawing of a leaf like the drawings of the others? So it's the same in that maybe you used a green leaf. The drawings were all leaves have veins in them. That's the little tiny lines that you see coming out here that you can tell a lot more about on the other side. So they all have veins, V-E-I-N-S. It might be that the edges were the same. So however you choose to answer that question, that's fine. If somebody else in your family wants to do a drawing and you want to compare it, to mine or compare it to theirs. You can answer that question to the best of your ability, given our situation. All right, so on page 311, we have a photograph of a laptop, and it says, use a computer to analyze data, or data. That word can be pronounced either way. And number 5 asks you to tell another way you use a computer. So in this space right here, I want you to write another way that you can use a computer. And there are some ways that were mentioned over on page 310 in this paragraph right over here. So if you want to pause your video and do that, you can go ahead and do that. This next photograph is a photograph of a microscope, and it says microscopes use several lenses to make objects appear much larger. Use microscopes to see things in greater detail. And so this is the kind of, doctors use microscopes, and nurses and researchers all use microscopes to see tiny bacteria. They can see viruses, much like the coronavirus that we're all dealing with right now. And it takes a lot of really strong lenses in order to see those things in great detail. If you were actually looking at live bacteria under a really strong microscope, you can see it moving around. And so you may want to just ask permission to Google or to look for some videos of some things being looked, some bacteria or viruses being looked at under a microscope. So apply. Tell what you would look at with a microscope. What is something that you would like to see under a microscope? All right, down here, this is a thermometer. And you use a thermometer to measure temperature. Obviously, this is not the same thermometer that you would use to check your own temperature. That looks a little different, right? We have some that go in our ears. We have some that go in our mouths. You have some that you just use across your forehead. And so a thermometer, this is an outdoor thermometer or an indoor thermometer used to measure the temperature inside your house. I'm going to do a video in a little while that's going to show some things that I found around my house when I started looking for some scientific tools that could be used. You may have a thermometer like this outside or inside your house somewhere. All right, compare observations. Scientists make observations many times to make sure their data are accurate. Now, data is, it sounds funny, but data is a plural word, and so I know some of you are thinking, why is she saying that? Why wouldn't we say data is? So, data are the facts you collect as you observe. Scientists record their findings and then compare their data with the observations of other scientists. Even though groups of scientists may use different tools to observe, their data should be similar. If not, then there are some things that they need to work on to figure out why those are different. Comparing your results with others is important. Sometimes there are errors in how observations are made. Sometimes the tool being used has a flaw. Sometimes a scientist misses an important detail. It's kind of like when we're working a math problem. If we miss an important detail, then we get the wrong answer. And so comparing things with other scientists is very important. And, you know, let's say that a doctor is trying to diagnose what's wrong with you and you're sick, and they go and they look at your blood or something else underneath a microscope, and the microscope is not working correctly, and so it gives them the wrong information. So to have another microscope to try out to make sure it's not the microscope is important, and to compare their results with other people. This virus, this coronavirus that we're dealing with right now, guys, is pretty scary, but there are a lot of scientists working on different things and trying to find cures and treatments, and even the tests that they have used have changed so much, and that is because there are scientists all over the world working hard at figuring out how this thing got started and how to cure it and what the treatment should be and how to diagnose it even. And so they're having to compare their data in order to make sure that that they're getting the right information and that their information matches. Okay, so text features. Why do you think some of the words in the captions are purple? Okay, check those out. Okay, I want you to tell me why. Why do you think that some of the words in the captions are purple? If you notice, each one of them, which word in each one is purple? And so if you said to bring attention or to make the picture in the what's being pictured in the photo obvious, then that would be correct. So why do you think some of the words in the captions are purple? It's to make them stand out. And you can write that however you choose to right there. To make those words stand out.